When I was 8, I bought a house. Okay, my parents bought the house, but it was like my house, you know? A 4-bedroom, 3-bath, so my sisters and I each had our own rooms on an acre of unfenced land with a long sloping driveway and a big backyard. I wanted to take good care of my new home, so I got a pink transparent clipboard and wrote my full name on the back with a whiteout pen. And I would get together with my sisters on the weekends and make chore charts and checklists and assign cleaning tasks. We were flummoxed when it came to actually executing those tasks, but we had fun planning. And we had goals for that backyard, too. This was a big purchase for me, after all, so I thought maybe I could monetize it. On my clipboard, we'd plan backyard concerts and plays, and we'd get together with other kids from the neighborhood to rehearse our performances. One day, we stole a bunch of cinder blocks my dad had set aside for some project and constructed a stage in the backyard for our Ace of Base cover band. And our big dream was a backyard carnival, which I was convinced would blow the neighborhood's minds. For 4 years, that house was my sanctuary, and I felt a sense of ownership. I don't like to use the word bossy to describe little girls, but me and my clipboard were in charge. But I would soon come to realize that as a kid, any control you think you have is all in your head. None of our plans came to fruition. We wanted to clean the house, but we literally didn't know how. We wanted everyone to fall in love with our Ace of Base cover band, but we could not sing or play musical instruments. And it turns out that carnivals cost money, and children, pretty much by design, don't have any money. And then when I was 12, I was hit with the reality that it was never really my house to begin with, because our parents sat us down and told us our dad would be moving out and eventually they would be selling the house. When your parents get divorced, any childhood illusions of control you have go out the window. Statistically speaking, half the people in this room will probably understand this on a very real level, but I was completely powerless, not just over the divorce or the house, but now my time was no longer my own. I was always either on mom's time or dad's time. Twice a week and every other weekend, we'd be shuttled to and from my dad's 2-bedroom apartment where I shared bunk beds with my little sisters. I wish I could tell you I had a plan of Home Alone-style hijinks to save my house, but the best idea I came up with was telling potential buyers that this house, built 10 years earlier, was haunted. And that obviously didn't work, and eventually someone made an offer, and pretty soon my parents were sitting in the kitchen going over a contract with the real estate agent. I stood against the wall, staring them down through tears until they finally acknowledged my presence and asked, "Do you need something, Jennifer?" I put on my strongest, bravest voice and asked, "Is that the contract?" They said it was. "Does that say that you're selling the house?" They said it did. "Can I just see it?" My dad walked the contract over to me, and I held it in my shaking hands. I didn't form a conscious thought, but I felt viscerally in my body that I had had enough. Enough of plans that didn't go anywhere and parents who didn't respect your time, and enough with sharing a bedroom, a bunk bed, even part-time with my sisters. I had an opportunity, a responsibility to kids everywhere. Kids of divorce, but also any kid who had ever realized their control was a mirage, that their dreams were too big for their backyard. My house had unrealized potential, and we weren't done with each other yet. And I heard my mother say, "Wait, what's she going to do?" And a grin spread over my face, and I slowly tore the contract in half and dropped it to the ground. Y'all, it worked. That was 28 years ago. My father still lives in that house to this day. My father likes to say that everything happens for a reason, and he cites this example because what we didn't know was that 3 years later, we would lose our mom to breast cancer and have to move in with our dad full time. And in the alternate timeline where I don't tear up that contract, his 3 teenage daughters are grieving their mother from a 2-bedroom apartment with bunk beds in a new school district. And yeah, the agent was ready to print a new contract, and the buyers weren't deterred. And it was my dad who ultimately said, actually, I do want to keep the house. I think I can make this work. But before knowing what my dad would decide to do, before knowing the future that lay out in front of my family, for that one brief moment, I had seized power on behalf of powerless kids everywhere and said, I am in charge. This is my house. Thank you.
Jenny Napolitano.